Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Langley and General Cavoli, thank you both for your many years of service to this country. General Cavoli, you serve as both the commander of the U.S. European Command and also as the Supreme Allied Commander of Europe. That means you are responsible for the overall command of NATO military operations and forces, including the United States nuclear forces that are deployed to those NATO countries. NATO is a nuclear alliance. Our deterrence strategy has worked for over 75 years. Having an American serve as Supreme Allied Commander of Europe has been a key part of that strategy. General, can you at this level of classification walk us through how command and control of U.S. nuclear forces in Europe works today, including your role?
Absolutely, Senator. So to keep it at a very open level, the United States has always offered a certain amount of nuclear force to NATO to be employed by SAC here. So we have some nuclear weapons that in a conflict, upon the agreement of the United States and the rest of the nations, would be turned over to SAC here to be delivered by a variety of nations who are involved in this program, all of them NATO nations. That all happens under the command and control of SACIR. If SACIR were not an American officer, we would have to find some other way to do that, and it would certainly not be as integrated with the rest of SACIR's operations as it is now. So, yeah, I basically, as the American commander, have those weapons in my possession, and at the time of need, as instructed, I would pass them to myself as the Supreme Allied Commander to employ in accordance with the 32 nations.
It sounds to me like the way the command works right now, we don't have a middleman involved in this. It would be you as an American commander in consultation with the president, the commander-in-chief, who could, I believe, more easily and also with more knowledge make decisions affecting the use of our nuclear weapons. Is that, would you say that's a correct assumption
yes,
on my part?
That's correct, because I am able to rehearse these procedures, both in the American system. I work very closely with General Cotton, for instance, from U.S. Stratcom. We can rehearse those procedures on a U.S. basis. We rehearse the delivery procedures on a NATO basis, and I and key American elements of my staff at the NATO headquarters, at Supreme Allied Headquarters Europe, we are able to be the link in that chain that makes it seamless.
Thank you. The GIUK gap, sir, it's always been a critical maritime choke point, but it has recently grown in its strategic importance to NATO in light of the increase we're seeing with Russian submarine patrols in the Atlantic. What do you see, General, as the largest challenges with respect to the GIUK gap?
The biggest challenge is there, ma'am, at an unclassified level, just the quantity of stuff we have, the quantity of equipment and the quantity of forces we have available to monitor the underwater activity there and to counter it. It's important to understand that the U.S. has a unique role here. We have capabilities that our allies do not have. They have capabilities in numbers that we need to augment ours, so we work very closely together, but the U.S. component of those efforts is absolutely fundamental.
Thank you, General. General Langley, as we're considering Africa under your command, we have seen, I believe, an increase with the Chinese presence on the continent, economic developments, military activities, investments on the continent. Do you see, or what would you see as the greatest concern to U.S. Security and also to regional stability in the area with regard to the actions that we are observing with the Chinese?
Senator, I see three lines of operations by the CCP. One, from geostrategic and their basing initiatives. As you well know, Dorley in Djibouti is their first start, and as the chairman talked about in his assessment. Then also other basing initiatives across the continent of Africa. Then their geopolitical line of effort in trying to dislodge the overall leadership in their quest to be the regional hegemon, as we start to look at their activities in the UN and trying to get geopolitical advantage over the West. And then also geoeconomic. They treasure critical minerals. They need those critical minerals, not only for their defense industrial base, but also for their greater industrial base. Those lines of efforts are what we're watching closely because they want to be the global hegemon.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.